Well, hello, YouTube. This is Con back with another episode of Misfit Show, and I'm back with my partner in crime, Mr. Two Beers. What's up, man?
Not much. Hey, everybody. How's it doing?
Hey, Mr. Two Beers. Well, the Xbox show is gone and went. You were wrong. I want to say you were wrong in your prediction of them having a showing of it, but it seems like I might have been right where I either said a week or 2 weeks after the show, so it seems like we're right on track for that. So I'll start off real quick. How do you feel about them not showing it at the Microsoft conference game show, and how do you feel about the actual patch maybe coming this week? Or maybe coming next week.
Since there are so many polarizing feelings about the show, I am glad that it did not premiere on the show, and I think that all these negative vibes that the show has gotten may have linked over onto the product itself. So yeah, I'm actually glad that it fixed it, and I actually think now that it was smart that it didn't premiere on the big game show.
Okay. What about the patch date? Your thoughts on it not being last week and possibly being this week or next week?
That's also good. Because by around this time, maybe people won't be talking about the show itself anymore. So yeah, being a week or two away from the show is not a bad idea. Also, but I am happy that it's right around the corner.
Awesome. So yeah, we got some good stuff, man. We saw some good stuff. I guess you could say with the show, like you said, we covered it on our podcast every Friday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern on Twitch at ARNGM. Hey, cheap plug. Go ahead and do it. And so we got to see a lot of stuff, but we didn't see Bleeding Edge. And I'm kind of happy that the actual patch was delayed. I wanted it to be a little bit later, and it coming out this week or maybe possibly next week sounds really, really good to me. I know a lot of people wanted to get their hands on Azrael, see how he plays and all that good stuff. But guess what? We got good news, though. It seems that somebody has already gotten actual gameplay Azrael, which was released about last week, which is kind of funny, right? If you think about it, because we put out our video, I believe, on the 20th. We recorded it on the 19th. We put it out on the 20th, where we were basically thinking about and talking about what could possibly be, happening with this with the actual move sets and all that stuff. And surely enough, a day after we put out our video, we made speculation. Arekkz, another YouTuber, Arekkz Gaming, was able and blessed by Bleeding Edge's group to actually get hands on an actual video of it. So we actually got a chance to actually see this guy in motion, which is pretty crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though we weren't right on the release date, I'm going to take partial credit on the release date, as I did say after the game show. I couldn't remember if it was a week or two, I said, in episode 3. But the funny thing is, so after we released our videos, about a couple of days, I think once this video came out, and I didn't realize it, we actually did have somebody come in to our comments who went and actually talked about how the movesets work, which is pretty cool. So what we're going to do real quickly is we're going to real quickly take a look at Arekkz Gaming's video, what he captured, just a real quick mesh of all of his abilities, and let's talk about our feelings for Azrael. So, all right, so right now I got everything starting to play right now. Two Beards, how do you feel about this character, from everything you've seen? We were right about some things, of course, in terms of how he plays. And we were wrong about a lot of stuff, but how do you feel about Azrael now that you get to see him in motion?
I think it's pretty... I enjoyed it a lot. Like, he moves differently than what I imagined in my head. Mm-hmm. Like, with the swaying twirly motions. Mm-hmm. But, like, I was very curious when I was reading about the Crystallis exploding. Yeah. I was wondering if that actually caused damage, because it wasn't really clear. But actually seeing it in motion, I like, oh, that is great because it is a great distraction, and
Yeah.
like the fact of knowing that it actually can cause it actually can cause damage. That's pretty awesome as well. The the wing gust from his wings work exactly how I pictured them in my head.
Okay.
It actually it blows them back even farther than I thought it was going to. So that's
Yeah, me
crazy.
too.
I can already feel people screaming nerf on that one. And I absolutely seeing how Guardian Angel actually works. I absolutely love it because like there are so many people who play support characters as if they were damage characters. so so it's like, and I love how the YouTuber calls it called it lazy healers because it's like
Yes.
you can literally just tap Guardian Angel and you can actually go and do your aggressive fighting and still heal people. So that's pretty awesome. The portal works completely different than I thought it would, but
Yep.
I think that the way they chose to make it work, I think it's a better option than just allowing the person to place two portals wherever they wanted to place on the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good idea. But yeah, most of the stuff actually works the way I thought it was going to, and for the stuff that doesn't, it was even a better surprise. So yeah, I can't wait to test out the character myself.
Yeah, when I first saw his basic attack, I was like, duh, Con, we cover. Azrael is basically the angel of death. Of course, his wing would be a sickle-like move. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, how did I not figure that? But I did call on his guardian angel where he would place a halo on somebody else's head. So I'm happy. I will take it that I did call that, and that is exactly how it actually showed. So out of everything I got wrong, at least I got one right there.
Yeah.
So I like that his shockwave that he pulls out, very similar to Nidhogger's axe, right? It's just a lot wider, and it actually puts out 2 stacks, which I enjoy, right? So it goes out 1, and then it comes back, and it puts the second stack of his passive one, which I thought was really, really good, right? So everything, the way he moves is interesting. I'm wondering, because when we see gliding, it seems like he could glide for a pretty long time. So,
yeah.
But one thing I wanted to actually talk about, which was one of the things you brought up too, was you were talking about when we first saw the updates, there were 2 patches. There was 2 cards, which I'm displaying currently right now, right? Where we saw 2 cards. We saw the leaderboards, the Makuto, the facility. We now know one of the cards is the new character. So I guess the last card would be now the custom mode. So before we go into the Makuto portion of it, how do you feel about the custom mode that they're adding into Bleeding Edge now?
I'm not exactly sure yet. Like it sounds good. Like especially having the choice, like as far as quality of life changes go. Mm-hmm. But I'm still waiting to see how it turns out, especially with a game that still does not have a large user base. It's
something to fear, right? If people start just gravitating to just playing custom matches rather than matchmaking, what's going to happen, right? So a custom match, for those who don't know, who don't keep up, basically is now when you go into Bleeding Edge, once it updates, it'll have I believe a button at the bottom underneath the leaderboards that'll say like custom matchmaking or custom queue. And what happens is, just like in the old PC game, you type in the code, whatever you name the party. I guess that could be your password too, and it'll take you right then and there into a custom match. So that way you can have basically a 4-on-4. But I'm curious as to how it actually works, right? So once you put in the code, does it just wait for 4 people? Do you go into a page and then there's like 4 slots on each side and you choose whether you want to be on A team or B team? Like
that's a good question.
I'm very curious as to how it works, because we've seen it before in Bleeding Edge's tweet, right? They show where the button is. They show that you put in the custom and you go into it, right? But if you're doing a tournament and you got pre-made teams, of course you're going to want everybody to join. So I'm guessing there has to be something there at the end to kind of allow people to, go into those custom matches and choose where they want to be after they put in the queue, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no video yet as of what happens after you put in the code and you go in the queue. So I'm guessing like what happens is everybody just queues up and they just go into the queue and they just wait for enough people to put in that code and it starts, or you get put into a nice little PC lobby. Because keep in mind, there's really no lobbies outside the in-game lobby for this game, right? There's no real lobby unless you queue up. You have to queue up with your team, maybe that might be it. Maybe you party up with a team, and then you queue up with the code, and your team will face off against the other team of that same code. Maybe that's probably how you have to do it. There's a lot of words there for when you put in your code as to what you probably have to do. It's kind of hard to read right now, but once the patch comes out, I guess we could look at it. I think it's a good addition, especially if you want to start, maybe not an esport league as of yet, but at least start tournaments like we stated before with, my goodness, I forgot the name of the fighting game tournament that usually is around this time in August. Evo. There we go. Evo. Yeah. Boomer brain, folks. Boomer brain. So with Evo coming around, well, now being canceled thanks to a guy, the guy who ran it being a creep. But when you had tournaments like Evo, you could then therefore maybe start off and run your own tournaments there in time for it. So it would have been pretty cool. So the other thing that we saw, of course, coming in with this patch, we've already discussed the new stage. But actually, no, before we go into Makutu, let us talk about the stages. So we got an interesting tweet about basically different settings. So you go to a map, and I don't know if it's based on where you are and the time you're at, but you could get either a morning, an afternoon, or an evening view with complete lighting and all for the maps. How did you feel about this?
I love it. Like when you're looking at it, this is a very, very fine quality of life upgrade. Yeah, it gives every map like a completely brand new feel, especially seeing them at night. Like it's great.
Yeah, I like the night. I like the afternoon. I like all of it. I mean, it all looks pretty darn good. And,
yeah, it does.
Good.
I can't actually wait to start fighting people at nighttime. It's good. So
yeah.
Just looks pretty dope.
Yeah, the light looks good. I think all of it looks good for it. Go ahead, complete your thought. What were you going to say?
I'm wondering if people who have like different type of costume effects and stuff like that, I wonder if that will show brighter or glow possibly during nighttime in the stages. I wonder if just the stages if it just affects the stages or if it affects the characters themselves also.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because imagine like Buttercup when she does her speed off thing and she leaves a little
the
red light trail behind her. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I
think it would look pretty cool. Yeah, they showed us 2 maps for it, and they showed us, I believe it was Jersey Sink and then the Madison. I could never remember. I always know it's like Madison Square Gardens. I forget the name of the arena, but they showed both of those arenas, and they look good. And
yeah,
I got nothing more to add, but yeah, I can't wait for this update. that's all I can say. And last but not least, let's talk Makutu, right? So a lot of questions came out about Makutu, and why do I keep saying his name wrong? It's Makutu, right? Makutu.
I get everybody's name wrong, so don't ask me.
Okay, it should be Makutu. Makutu. I'm probably pronouncing it anyway. But anyway, correct me in chat. Let me know how I'm supposed to pronounce this guy's name. But anyway, Makutu, when we were first trying to think about what is going to happen with him, at first we said last week that a rework. Well, I said that a rework could be anything, right? It could be a stat change, or it could be a total rehaul of the character, right? So, thanks to, once again, to Arekkz Gaming, and Bleeding Edge giving Arekkz Gaming inside look into the Makutu buff and changes. It seems like they didn't change much with the character, but they just gave him a buff. What did you think about some of the changes that they actually did? Actually, you know what? Before you said that, let me quickly gloss over some of the changes. So, the idea with Makuto was they felt that he was underpowered and he didn't do as much damage. And me and Two Beers talked about back in the alpha days how strong he was. So it seems like they're giving him back a little bit of that strength. So his where he had to swap his stance to run quicker, it looks like they changed his speed to match everybody else's, so he runs just as quickly. And instead of his second ability taking away his speed, or giving him a speed boost, now it's more of attack damage based upgrade. So now he hits quicker, he hits harder, he does 20% more damage when he's in that. And then also his one ability that would blow people away, it actually has a dual method based on your stance. So one will push people away like normal, and the other one will bring people back in. So, and then he also does get a speed boost. I'm not sure, I would have to look at the video again, but I'm not sure if he gives others the speed boost too also when he's in that stance, but I know he gets the speed boost. So with all that said, go ahead, Two Beers, tell us what how you feel about Makuto.
I think all the changes were nice balanced changes. They do make him a more formidable character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't appear to be the invincible man that he once was, but like I think this actually makes him much more playable, giving him the added speed, giving him that dual ability. Especially I like seeing how like when you turn it inwards on itself, how it actually pulls people to you like a magnet. So yeah, that's all good stuff, especially if you need them in clutch situations to pull people away from a certain item, or like imagine going on the other side, like when you're playing on the one stage. I forgot which map it is, the name of the map, where the platform is always heading towards the fire electricity. You just get on the other side and pull people into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think they did a good job on reworking it.
Yeah, I can't wait to try them. I think my number one problem was when and it's sad too, because I remember when we first started playing, I was like, if you want to help your team, don't play Makuta.
Yeah.
That was always my slogan. And I hate to say that, because the character in Alpha was he was super strong. He was probably, outside of El Bastardo, who basically didn't die, he was probably the second strongest tank at the time, right? And Buttercup was strong too. Don't get me wrong, Buttercup was strong. But I don't think she offered as much as Makuto in terms of versatility of what he can do as a tank. And now I think, now that they're increasing his damage, I think that's something that he was missing, right? He was like a wet paper towel before, and now he's something where if you're a smaller character, like let's say you're a Damon, you'll think twice about trying to go 1v1 with the guy, right?
Yep.
And the ability to, he's always had the ability to switch stances, but now his stances are more definitive of defense and attack, I think now he's going to become very popular in terms of tanks. I think he's going to be very, very popular. And I know this is the one thing most people don't like to think, but I think they need to revisit Buttercup just slightly, adjust some of her stats, because I think Buttercup still melts like butter. When you look at all the other tanks, I think she is the weakest tank in terms of tanking damage, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree. Her oil puddle needed a major nerf The slow on it was just insane. You couldn't, once you dropped it, you could not get away, especially with the mod. You could not get away. You were stuck in it. Trust me, I understand the nurse that she needed. I'm not asking. What's that?
I definitely do feel her overall health needs to be brought back up, though.
Yeah, it just seems like she doesn't take damage. Yeah, it doesn't seem like she takes damage as well as she used to, and maybe that's what they felt. I'm sure there's. I mean, I still see a lot of people playing Buttercup. I swear half of them are bots, but I do see people playing Buttercup though.
And at the same time, I don't feel the amount of damage that she herself puts out makes up for the amount of damage she takes. Like, there's a lot of time where I'm playing like a damaged character, and like I should not be able to stay in there as long as I do fighting against her. Like, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that you got other tanks like Meko who output so much freaking damage. Like, Meko is able to put out like 12,000 damage, which is right up there with most damage dealers. Yeah, pretty much most damage dealers. Yeah, I mean, usually unless you're Gizmo, who's going to usually average anywhere from 12 to like 18 to 20,000 damage. Anywhere from 12 to 20,000 damage. Most damage dealers are usually in the 10. Usually, I'll say 9 to 10,000 range, depending on who they are. But yeah, he puts out so much more damage, and so does El Bastardo. They put out so much damage. It's just nuts. And Buttercup doesn't put out nowhere near as much damage. She doesn't have the survivability of the other tanks. So I'm hoping that they kind of tweak her slightly. I'm not saying give her more damage. I'm not saying change her puddles. I'm just saying maybe don't even give her a little bit more health. I don't know if there's like a hidden stat for defense, but just make it so that she could take a couple more hits. So that way when she goes in and drops her move, she's not at 1 bar.
Yeah. Completely agree.
But yeah, I can't wait to try the new Makuto. I can't wait to try him. Can't wait to try Azrael. I think I know this is going to be a lot shorter than what we usually typically do in terms of videos, which are like 40 minutes, which is good because I'm trying to bring these videos down to about 20 minutes. So real quick, was there anything else that we're missing, Two Beers, before we go into final thoughts? Was there anything else that they unveiled or showed that we didn't talk about?
Oh no, unless we're missing it.
Okay. So real quick, final thoughts. Now we know what we're getting, and we're getting it probably this week or next week. Last but not least, what's those wish list items that you still want them to fulfill? It looks like they're hitting a lot of stuff that people wanted.
They're hitting a lot of stuff now. Yeah. More characters is always going to be on there.
Of course.
And I'm dying for another mode. Like even though I want to see them get creative with the modes that they do, I definitely want a team deathmatch mode, because that's how most people play the game anyway. And and I have some like I wouldn't really call these modes, because these are the mode I'm about to bring up next is the type of modes that people normally create in games that have forge modes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing a turn on zombie or infected or something like that. But just oh, you hate that type of mode?
No, I'm just going to disagree. I don't want any of that in Bleeding Edge. I'm sure there's people who want it. I don't want it anywhere near Bleeding Edge. I'm good. I don't want it anywhere near Bleeding Edge. I'm tired of zombies and zombie modes.
I was thinking of a sort of PvE mode where like it's one thing that everybody has to attack.
Yeah.
Just something a bit different from the norm. But yeah, most of all, it's that team deathmatch.
Like, and keep in mind, I know I say this a lot on this show, but whatever new modes or new things that they create, they have to work in the way that the maps are designed now, or else they have to redo all the maps. And so whatever new mode that you want to think of for them to add, it has to fit within the current maps that they have, right? So when you think about Escort, like most people think about Escort like Overwatch, where you have one point A and you go to point B and you stand there and you drag it along the way. If you're going, you got to be able to do with so much stuff in all these maps. It's kind of hard to do outside of Jersey Sync, which literally has the train system between it. Outside of that, there's not many. There's a lot of obstacles and things you got to think about the way they design their maps. So I agree with you. Team Deathmatch is definitely something that can easily be done. I think that's probably the easiest mode to add, and as much as I don't care for Team Deathmatch, it's still needed. Maybe you do it similar to Rogue Company, where you have it's Team Deathmatch, but it's based on lives, right? So yep. Maybe everybody gets 5 lives or 4 lives, and then once you run out of lives, then bam, the match is over, last man standing. Maybe that works, right? Because if you think about it, there's no characters right now that I could think of. No, that's incorrect. Zero Cool would break it because he does have his 1-up, which would allow him to resurrect the character. So that's probably the only character. But then that just makes Zero Cool standard for if that mode comes up, to consistently always have.
Unless they grab super, and he's only allowed to use protection.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they would do or how they would change that, or maybe just make a regular Team Deathmatch. If I had to think of another mode, I think I would love, and you're along the lines of Zombie, but similar to that, make it like a King of the Hill. Mm-hmm. And I know I say right, King of the Hill, right? So when most people think of King of the Hill, they think of King of the Hill like there's a territory, you stand on it and you hold it. But I'm thinking of King of the Hill more along the lines of, I guess you could say, similar to Halo's version of Vampire, right? So you have one person, there's an item, you kill them, you get the item, and you try to survive as long as you can with the item. Or the team tries to survive as long as they can with whatever that specific item is. So there's an item that spawns in the middle, both teams are fighting for it. You get it on your... Think about like Oddball, right? But instead of having the physical item, if you kill somebody, whoever kills that person who has the crown or whatever, it automatically transfers to them, and your team has to protect them, per se. So it's not Oddball where you can keep swapping, like something around, like the skull, but it's based on kills. So if I'm Damon and I kill Buttercup who has it, then I'm also now the person who has to be protected. And I'm trying to hold it as long as I can, and keep and you keep a match. Make every match, make it rounds or something like that, and you make each round like 3 minutes or something like that. Something so that it's a short turnaround for gameplay. So people aren't wasting their whole life for it. Doing this round maybe best of 3 or something like that, and you work it that way. And that's a simple mode that you could bring into the game, and it's something that doesn't have to require you to change a whole lot, right? And it still gives you that team deathmatch feel. It gives you a lot of different things, and you can reuse assets if you want. It's a lot of things you could do with it. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I do have one more where I don't want to call it an arcade mode, but I think they should have something similar that would be like a wonky mode where they could basically test out ideas to just see how they play off of the crowd. So like every now and again, It can be something different. So for example, they could have something like where the characters are completely sped up. There's no such thing as a stamina meter, so you can dash and parry as much as you want, just to see how that plays out.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually And you want to know something? I play a game called Legends of Runeterra, right? And then Legends of Runeterra or League of Legends has it too. So what they call is labs. And basically what they do is they introduce a new game mode. It lasts for 7 days. You test it out, and based on input from the community, they'll either put in a rotation, they'll make it as actual mode, or they'll try something new, right? And like, for instance, Legends of Runeterra is a card game, so with one you would choose like different heroes and you would get random cards, right? So yeah, imagine that, a mode where automatically each round, every time you die, you spawn with like a different champion. You can't swap it out. You get random mods or pre-built mods automatically, whether it's default, and every time you die, you get a different one. So you can have a team basically where everybody dies and everybody's Damon. Or all healers. You don't know. It's just the minute you die, you get a random new champion and you can't change them. Or like what you say, where you start like what they would call in League of Legends Earth mode, right? Where there's no cooldown, so you take away all cooldowns on abilities. You give infinite stamina, which would be the same as infinite mana, and then you just let it go wild, right? And I think if you introduce all these new type of modes into it and you just rotate it, right? And you just have somebody design and come up with different modes, and you rotate it and put it in 7, put it in for a week, take it down for 2 weeks, come back in another week, put it up again, another one for a week, take it down, and based on that, people can vote on it if they like it or what. And then you have free modes that you could test out with your community, see how your community likes it, whether they want to do it or not, and then you can introduce them as permanent modes for your community, and you could move on it. I think that's an excellent idea, Two Beards. Wow, that was a good one.
Thank you.
That's crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, you were due, but that's a good one. I hope they listen on that. Maybe you should send them a message on Twitter or something like that and suggest that. In fact, you can send them a clip from this video itself and let them know this is a suggestion, and tell them they can have it for free.
All right.
But yeah, let's wrap this up. I don't think there's too much more. I mean, I think you nailed it. Basically, characters and new modes is one thing. I know in this update we're going to get new patch. We're going to get new costumes in this new patch, and we're going to get new emotes. Which is pretty cool, like dances and stuff like that. I think this game has the potential to be a lot bigger than what it is, right? Yeah, hopefully they listen to your idea. I think it will help them a lot, but I'm not sure what will require for them to do that, because you would have to have somebody consistently thinking about new modes. But but that's what your community's for, right? Your community can come up with new modes for them to do, and then they could try to pick and take from there and build whatever they can. That's easier for them. That doesn't require them to, break and redo the whole game, basically. True. But, yeah, good idea, man. Anything else before we shut it out?
Oh, no, I think that was it. It was some very, very nice updates. And, like, I'm jealous of that YouTuber for getting things so early.
Shout out to Arekkz Gaming.
And you can we'll put his links in the description so you can click on to see the full videos.
Yep.
Yeah, that's but yeah, it's some pretty cool updates. And also, like, I've seen that's following the Twitter. I'm happy to see, like, it's a whole lot more. I don't know if all these people are actually playing the game, but there seems to be a whole lot. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot more interaction and things going on.
Yeah.
So I'm loving seeing all that.
Yeah, I think it's good seeing more stuff from Bleeding Edge. And by the way, Bleeding Edge was in the conference. If you saw it when they were talking about Game Pass, it was one of the squares in the top left corner. I think it was like the second or third one. It was my girl Maeve, but yeah, she was up there. It was there, even though they didn't say anything about it. But yeah, I think they're, like I said, just give us transparency. Just keep talking to people. Get a community manager to do that. People love your game, right? They want to support your game.
I do think if they want to keep up with the whole thing of just delivering the maps and characters and everything for free, I think they should do the high res Riot outlook of just offering a special custom skin that you can only get at limited times, and that one you can't get by grinding and throw it in the vault, bring it back out every now and again.
Gotcha.
Like something that's super special.
Yeah.
Like that way, I feel people won't feel it's a rip if it's something like that. At least I think so, anyway.
I agree. Yeah, new animations, new everything with it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the legendary skins, as a lot of people call them in other games. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, I want to say special thank you to all of everybody who took a click, listened to it, even if it was only for a second. I want to say thank you for watching the video. Remember, folks, to keep giving us thumbs up. Keep letting us know in comments what you want to see, what you want to add. And even if you don't like it, you could give us a thumbs down. I don't mind. Just tell us what you want to change. If you're like, hey, you guys suck or whatever, okay, but it's fine. I can take it. I just want to know, how we can improve the Misfit show.
Constructive criticism, man.
Yeah, there you go. But I want to say thank you to everybody who watched the video. Definitely last week. It means a lot to me. Hopefully it means a lot to you two, Beards.
It definitely does. Thank you, guys.
Because last time I asked you, you were like, yeah, whatever. But anyway, let's shut this video down. We don't want to go too late. Thank you, everybody. We will hopefully get more gameplay, more videos out to you very soon. And yeah, when it comes out, we'll definitely be playing. And remember, folks, if you want to play with me and Two Bears in Bleeding Edge, we tend to play every Wednesday evening, 5 p.m. Yeah, 5 p.m. on twitch.tv/ARNGM. Just come in, stop by, shoot us a hi in chat, and let us know if you want to jump in and run some matches. Anything else, Two Bears, before I sign us off?
Nope, that's it.
All right, folks, remember, keep gaming, stay safe. Peace out, everybody.
All right, peace.